welcome to Turn the Page, the official podcast of the Syosset Public Library.
Hi, this is Jessica with Syosset Library's Turn the Page podcast, and we have today a guest who is right now, you are in South Korea. Please introduce yourself. I know it's like early morning here and not late there, but just the time zones, getting together and being able to do an interview like this is always very exciting. So please introduce yourself and tell us about your book.
Okay, so hi, my name is BonHyung Jeong. I hope you can guys call me like Bon, it's okay. And currently I'm living in Korea, and now as she mentioned is right now it's 10 p.m. And my book is about a girl named Grace, like goes to same middle school with her brother Kyle, who is always good looking and famous and always have a better reputation, and everything is opposite to her. And she always being under comparison to him. And what happens now in the story is her old and new friends start crushing on him. So this causes her longtime friends kind of fall apart too. So she have to navigate her new middle school life by herself.
The book is amazing, and it I know, being somebody who reads a lot of graphic novels, works in the children's section, sometimes not much, a few hours a week, but I used to be full-time there, and I know how big the graphic novels are for all ages, but especially for this group. And I also know just the types of stories that they're drawn to. I know, like, decades ago, there were so many children's, and I guess now we call them middle grade or tween books about the popular kids. And like, it wasn't like there were books about kids who were not in that crowd, but it just wasn't, because I don't know why, but people didn't seem to write about it as much as they do now. And you have like Svetlana Shmakova's Brave series. I know that there's a whole series of them now, and I'm completely blanking on the name. I think it's named after the school. But those books like Awkward, Brave, Crush, I think they capture that really weird period in a child's life where they're not really a kid, but they're not a teenager, but they're starting to feel the feels of everything. And with Kyle's little sister, it has all of the feels, and the artwork is just so cute and so expressive.
Thank you.
All of the characters are just so distinct in, like design, but also their voice. So talk a little bit about where the story came from. Like, how did Grace's story begin to formulate when you were writing this?
So as you mentioned, it's kind of a long story to start with, but I actually have no idea how to read to make the middle school graders book, like, or graphic novels, because I was kind of more used to young adults comic book, I would say. And when I met my editor Juyeon, and she recommended me Brave and Awkward, we are at the same publisher, and she recommended me those books, and it gave me the idea of how to start with the middle graders, because I also kind of reminds me of, my middle school life and how much I spent the time one day in the school time, a day in a school. So that's how I coming from with to start with the story.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I do. I actually have an older brother. He's exactly 2 years old gap right now. And
I was gonna
not
say,
right now. He's always been 2 years, but
is he like Kyle at all?
no, I mean the thing is we didn't have the same exact like experience as Kyle and Grace. We didn't have such experience, but one thing that I had was, since him and I have a kind of similar looking, and everyone would at his grade will like recognize me that, oh yeah, you are his sister, right? And I'm like awkwardly like, yeah, who are you?
But you're also like, you have a name. You have your own identity, and that's what Grace
Yeah.
wants.
Yeah, and I have my own name, I have my own identity, but even the teachers already been through him, and they will recognize me as his sister. So I was like, hey, awkwardly, and like, you guys already recognize me, but I don't know you guys, but hi.
So Grace and Kyle both have their groups of friends. Siblings cross over a little bit. Like
Right.
Grace's friend Amy is the little sister of one of Kyle's friends.
Right.
It's interesting because and this comes up in the story, when you meet the characters, they're very, like, Grace and Amy are very different from each other.
Right.
But
Right.
you hear that they've been friends for a really long time. And then
Right.
then there's also Jay, who's in that friend group. And it's nice to see all of these very different kids coming together and being friends. But then, you really delve into the idea of who your friends are when you're younger and as they change, and who affects why you're friends with each other. I think
Right.
there were a lot of, as you mentioned, there were some falling outs in the book, and there were just some moments where Grace just, like, she has a look on her face when she's doing something. It's either like she's eating alone,
Right.
or she passes one of her friends who she had a falling out with on, like at their locker or in the hallway. And I could smell my middle school when I was reading that. It was just pitch perfect. And I know that might sound cliche, but I'm sitting there reading this book, and I was like, oh my God, I could smell the wax on the chairs. I could hear the sneakers scuffling up the hallways. It was just so good. Have you been getting a lot of feedback like that from people?
I haven't. Well, I usually, I mean, since it got out, I got the reviews from other people, and they're like, they mention about it is, the story, described well about the sibling library and everything, but I haven't like heard like this like you like from you, like you can, like, I'm really appreciated and glad to hear that you could actually like, kind of remind of your middle school life, because that's what I wanted. But yeah, and I haven't seen that review yet, but you were probably the first one right now.
Considering that this interview is done sort of a little bit after the book came out, but we spoke before, and we're going to plan on airing this before the back to school season. I hope that anybody listening who has I mean, even if you're not a kid, but you enjoy graphic novels and you just need to understand what that feeling was, or you need to remember it, it's definitely here in this book. And it's just so, it's so important for that age for people to know that their
Right.
feelings are valid, and what they're going
Right.
through are things that people have been through before. So when did you start drawing, and what are some graphic novels, comic books that you like?
So with the first question, like when I started with the drawing is like I think I started very young, like since kindergarten. I always, my where I grown up environment was I was really close to manga and animation and something like that. So I already kind of into, you know, magic girl like changed to like something strong girls, and and I already started drawing with the, sparkling eyes and the dresses and like, enjoying the every um girl characters that can see. And I think that's how I kind of got into that area, but wasn't sure about it. But I always kind of have a dream, like I wanted to be a like cartoonist someday, but not like, you know, you don't know it's gonna happen. You just like, I just want to be one at some point, and you kind of prepare for it, but you don't know it's really gonna happen. And that's how I start with the drawing. And my favorite graphic novel is one is two of them, both of them are my reasons, to be honest. I cannot really pick one, but one is Astrid Lindgren, which is who is, the legends of, I think, the children novel. And she's the one author of Fifi and the Lionhearts, and that's the one that I really, really enjoyed when I was young. And the other one is, she's the manga artist. Her name is Natsume Ono, and her book, she's the author of Five Leaves and Ristorante Paradisos and Gentes, and her storytelling and everything, her way of style, like drawing skills, is just unique. It's just like out of nowhere. I cannot really like find someone else other than her. So both authors are my favorite people that I really enjoyed while I'm growing up, and still I am.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I'm actually a big fan of manga as well.
Mhm. Great.
And
What is your favorite though?
oh my gosh. Okay, so what is my favorite manga? I mean, I could be really cliche and say Sailor Moon
Mhm.
because I grew up on it, but
I mean,
yeah, but there's some really interesting ones that have come around. I'm actually, this is going to sound weird, but there was, and now I have to remember the name of
mhm.
the artist. So I'm going to be looking this up as I speak to you.
Okay.
But there was one that came out in, at least here in the States, around maybe like the late 90s, early 2000s. And it was called
90s.
Planet Ladder by Yuri Narushima.
Oh,
Yeah, you know it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I
I,
was kind of not sure with the since it's the English, but I do know about that. I do recognize that. Wow. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not going to say your favorite would be like weird or cliche. I mean, those two. I mean, I haven't read the Planet Letters from Planet. That's what you mentioned?
Mhm.
Um, I haven't get to read it yet, but I heard it's really good. I have a lot of people that said that one is really good one, and also Sailor Moon is like, everyone loves Sailor Moon, and who grew up born in 90s, they grew up with Sailor Moon basically. So I'm I cannot really
Yeah, well, I
I'm
mean,
not going to say it's cliche
there's
or
so
weird.
many people that I meet now who
Mm,
are just like they say that they were so transformed, and I guess that's a pun, by meeting Sailor Moon at a certain time. And honestly, the translations in the 90s were not great here. But whatever it was still kind of cut through a lot of us, and there was just something that we felt when we watched those characters. And there was awkwardness in that in Sailor Moon. Now I'm thinking about it, like she wasn't, you know, she was kind of a little bit ditzy. She wasn't in school, and then like all of her friends had like a thing, like they had trouble relating to people, or they had temper, and so yeah, so I like that. And Planet Ladder was just kind of a really interesting story, which took the Princess Kaguya myth and played with it a little bit. And I think about it a lot. I know Mari Naoshima has written a few other books. And I have a lot of her other series. And then there's Mars by Fayumi Soryo, which was very good. Her artwork is just super, super cool. And then there's also like Princess Jellyfish is also really good, and that's Akiku Higashimura. And then I also like a lot of shonen stuff. So like I'll read Naruto, I'll read Trigun, and pretty much anything with a good story and some action.
Right. And I do miss Naruto a lot, and Inuyasha and everything, because as I mentioned about the childhood environment we had in like whole animation channel for when we were kids, when I was kids in Korea. So basically, you know, these days there is like animation platform that you purchase for subscription, and like you can see the whole episodes whenever you want. But that time there was no such Netflix or anything like that. You just have to be on time to watch the episodes, and that's how I kind of, you know, attached to like all the animation and mangas, and you know, wants to be like some, you know, girl my dream, I guess.
You know, it's funny. So you said there was a channel that was dedicated to it in Korea. We had in the States not that at all. We had channels that had cartoons, mostly American, mostly Western cartoons. But they were only at specific times, and to find any kind of anime, you either had to catch it on a channel at an obscure time, like really, really early in the morning, or or just like 2:00 in the morning. Or you had to walk into a comic book store and go all the way to the back and look at these VHS cassettes that were poorly marked, and you didn't really know what you were going to be watching, but you hoped that it was going to be good. So, and of course, like now, like all of these titles are coming to mind. I'm like, oh, I watched this and I watched this, but that's so, but I empathize with you as far as like not being able to access what you wanted to access. And now, like you said, I mean, there's Netflix, there's Crunchyroll, there's a million ways to access it.
Technology is developing, and like everyone is, you know, there was kind of nostalgic moments that you actually have to be on moments for that. But I mean, I'm the one who is enjoying like the Netflix and the other platforms right now. But there was time that, you know, you go to the school and you run to the home and like just turn on the TV, and like you have to watch this episode and something like that.
I think back, like, man, it was over 10 years ago. They were doing it was a big anniversary of Sailor Moon's first, you know, and I remember seeing that there was a commercial in, I think it was Japan, with all of these mothers dropping their kids off in elementary school, texting each other that they have to go home and watch Sailor Moon together.
Oh,
that was the best.
I think so. I want to watch it. Maybe I have to search it on YouTube after this. But oh my God, that's really
I
cool.
hope that's not something I was just making up, because now I'm thinking about it, and it seems like, but no, I remember hearing about it, because there was like there were a lot of anniversary items that were for sale, and I think they reissued the
Right.
manga in the States.
Mm.
Yeah. So is this the last we have seen of Grace and her friends?
I cannot really mention anything right now,
Okay.
but I hope if there was a good impression, I hope everyone would love to see them again at some point, and I would love to. And so, I just hope people can keep watching me, like read my books and like see how I go, kind of that kind of I mean that kind of mood is like I just done with the first book, so let's see how I'm gonna go for the next step. Yeah.
No, that makes perfect sense, but I do think that you are going to very easily find an audience, and I think that
Oh, thank
people are going to want more of Grace and her friends, and her relationship with her brother, and just like,
you.
even if it's not a story about them, even if you have something else you're going
Mm.
towards, I think people are just really going to love your work, because the artwork is beautiful,
Thank you.
stories, they have a lot of emotion, and I'm very excited to see where you go from here.
Oh wow. I'm really I'm really like enjoying this moments, like actually hearing, cause actually since I'm in Korea, I haven't really gotten to. I mean, I saw the pictures that my books are on the bookstores, but other than that, I can't really feel I actually got the first book out. So I only have like my book as a physical way, but I still kind of feel like it's my book actually got out, and like the reviews and everything, and like you know so I'm actually glad to hear from you that you're saying you enjoy the book, and like since you mentioned that you can like go back and think about your middle school life and everything, I really appreciate to hear about it, and really thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. So we're going to wrap up. Once again, this was Jessica with Syosset Libraries Turn the Page podcast. Our guest today was.
BonHyung Jeong, and like, you can call me Bon, and thanks for having me, Jessica.
Thank you, Bon. It was an absolute pleasure, and I really do hope that we will speak again next
Mm-mm.
time you publish a graphic novel.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I would be glad if you guys invite me again. Yeah,
And
I would be
and
glad to
to
talk
our
to you again.
listeners, we're going to post Bon's Instagram information in the show notes. So please
Okay.
check them out, and check out Kyle's little sister in libraries and bookstores. It is the perfect read for anybody with feelings.
Wow. Okay, great. Oh wow. I'm really thank you. Like, yeah. Again, yeah.
We are going to close this chapter of Turn the Page.
It's time to close this chapter of Turn the Page. Join us for the next episode.